So children, the next part is different types of flowers in our daily life, and some flowers are big and some flowers are small, and there are different colors of flowers are also there. But some plants produce flowers and some plants does not produce flowers. So if you observe different flowers, they are different in their size and they are different in their color and they are also different in their shape. So daily we will observe different types of flowers which are different in their size, shape and color. For example, rose, so lily and jasmine, so sunflower, so etc. All these are the examples for the flowers. So these are some examples for the flowers where the rose is in red color and lily, jasmine are in white color, and whereas sunflower is in yellow color. So in this way, so flowers are different in their size also and in their shape also and in their color also. So if you consider rose flower, it is in red color, and whereas lily and jasmine are in white color. So whereas the rose is in smaller size when compared with the sunflower, and lily and jasmine are very small when compared with the rose flower. So in this way, the flowers are different in their size and in their shape and in their color. And flower is the most brightest part among all parts of the plant. So it is the brightest part and it is the attractive part for the insects, and we are also attracted by the flowers of these plants. Flowers grows for the plant especially at the stalk, at the tip of the stalk. So these flowers grows especially at the part where the leaves are attached to the branch, that means at the tip of the stalk. And these flowers are very important for the plants, and they attract the insects by their colors, and most of the flowers has a pleasant smell and they are looking beautiful to our eyes. So especially why these flowers has different colors and why these flowers has different types of smells, because they have to attract the insects. So why these flowers has to attract the insects? Because the reproduction will take place in these flowers. So flowers are the main site where the reproduction takes place. So that's why for the reproduction, that means for the production of the seeds and fruits, so these flowers has to attract the insects. So that's why the reproduction will take place by the process called pollination. So this pollination process will take place in the part flower, and then the reproduction will take place in the flowers. So especially if we consider every flower, so there will be some green colored parts at the bottom of every flower, and that green colored leaves present at the bottom of the flower are called sepals. So these sepals will protect the flower when it is in bud, in the form of bud. So when flower is in the form of a bud, these sepals will cover the bud and protect the bud from the insects and from the winds. And after the bud is grown into a flower, then the flower has petals. So sepals, so petals are inside the sepals. So these petals are in different color for different flowers. So children, so this is about flowers, especially the reproduction will take place in the part flower and the pollination will take place in the part flower. So that's why the flowers are in different colors and they have different types of smells and pleasant smells, but they have to attract the insects. So insects are attracted especially by these colors of the flowers and by their smells. So pollination will take place when the insects fall on the flowers. Then if the pollination will take place, then reproduction will take place. And if you consider a flower, initially it will in the form of a bud, and this bud will grow at the tip of the stalk. and after some days this bud will grow into flower. So when it is in the form of a bud, then the sepals will protect the bud. And after the bud grown into a flower, so then the sepals will be there in the flower. So this is the structure of the flower, and this is about the flowers. Now, what are the functions of the flower? So what are the main functions of the flower? So children, so there are nearly two functions for a flower. The first one is, as we have discussed earlier, the production. So it is a site of reproduction. So mainly reproduction takes place with the help of flowers. And the second function is, so the pollination will take place in the flowers. So pollination will take place with the help of insects in these flowers. So these are the two functions of the flowers. The first one is it is a site of reproduction where reproduction takes place in the plant, and it will attract the insect. So flowers attract the insects by their colors and by their smells, and when insects fall on them, then pollination will take place. So due to pollination, so then fertilization takes place. So due to fertilization, then the reproduction will be takes place here. So this is about flower. The another part in the plant is fruits.